All right, so this is happening now. Um, for those of you watching, bear with me. This is like my first ever recording interview thing, and I'm using you as my guinea pig because I've known you for like what 14 years, something like that.
Quite a while, quite a while.
Exactly. So the whole purpose of this interview is that you did just put out a remix album for your self-titled album that came out last year. This was, I believe, the first album you've put out since 2013, which was, I think, your final album that you did on Metropolis, and then you went the solo artist route. Not solo artist, but
Yeah, yeah, correct. Yeah, so just for your audience sake, I'm Clint Carney from System Sin,
yeah.
is
It's
the
just
band. For
this
that,
is
for
new to me, so this is where
that,
you. I probably should have introduced
yeah,
you, but
that's all good. So yeah, the new album is called "If It Doesn't Break You." It's a remix album. Well, it's got 10 remixes on it from the last album, plus 2 cover songs and a original track as well. But the remixers include like bands like Assemblage 23 and God Module and Imperative Reaction, Aesthetic Perfection, and then a bunch of cool newcomers as well.
And then I'm gonna get back into your album because I got to kind of take it in a direction. But what I'm actually gonna first talk about, the majority of the stuff that people view me on my channel is mostly horror stuff. For anyone who might have seen the movie Dry Blood, that guy actually made the movie. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so a few years back, me and my friend Kelton Jones just decided we were going to make a movie. And I had this script called Dry Blood, which is like a cabin in the woods style ghost, but kind of not a ghost movie at the same time. Super violent, just an indie horror flick, really fucked up. And we did the festival circuit with it. We had a lot of great success. As you know, we were playing up in Seattle, or I'm sorry, up in Portland for
Yeah,
the um, now I'm blanking on the
I
name
think
of
it was
that
like
festival,
2016.
but
It was like some festival I think it was a theater in Burnside or something like that.
yeah, it was a great festival too. And now I'm totally blanking on the name of it. We won Best Picture, but anyway, yeah,
You
I
didn't tell me
stayed
that
with you for
actually.
that. So yeah, we won. Yeah, we won Best Picture for that festival, so
Nice.
which was cool. And then in 2019, Epic Pictures through their sub label Dread, which is their horror division, put it out, and now it's on like Amazon and Tubi and a bunch of the digital platforms. But you can also get a Blu-ray or DVD. In fact, you can go to my website for my band, systemsin.com, and then you can also buy the movie there too if you like horror. Which, if you're watching this channel, I assume you
Yeah. So I mean, the whole purpose of this was really to talk about your new album. But for any of you that might not have seen Dry Blood, this is a good opportunity to go check it out and find a movie that you haven't seen before that's actually really good quality. And actually, one funny thing that I thought, I think a little bit of the influence of because you wrote the soundtrack obviously for Dry Blood. I think a
do.
little bit
Yeah,
of that style bled into your album a little bit. I would definitely say just musically, you know that.
yeah. I mean, they're all. It's all just me writing the music, so that the soundtrack for that film does resemble System Sin music because it is.
Yeah, but
there's
what I'm
no
saying though
there's
is, I mean, for
no
people that have listened to you over the, since the early 2000s, just that style, I feel kind of bled, like that influence, just, with the movie, I think bled into that album for sure. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I agree.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you wrote it. I mean, I can't say what you think because you're the one that masterminded the album. I just, from my personal perspective, that's just what I, thought when I listened to the, music of the album and then the your most recent album, which I got to say on the remixes, it was definitely a really good cast of people you had remixing. Jason from God Module did a really great remix. My personal favorite was definitely the Imperative Reaction one. You know, I don't know, it was the best one I thought of the whole thing.
Thanks. Yeah.
Um,
I'm I was really happy with a lot of the remixes, especially. I mean, like, you know, the big names, you kind of know they're going to turn in something kick ass.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of bands that are just, you know, kind of under the radar right now, like Alice and Elias Black and Saucer Drum, and then Sea of Dead Faces and Cult of Aaliyah. Those are all kind of newer bands, or not necessarily newer, but just ones that haven't, you know, got a lot of exposure in the scene yet. And I thought they all just did just really great work on their mixes. So
Yeah,
couldn't
and
be
that's
happier.
that's a really good thing for those bands, because I mean, when you listen through the album, it's a good way for them to get exposure and just seeing that style blended with your music. Basically, that's what's really good to be able to jump on those good remix albums.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, because like when I started out, before I had a record deal, that's kind of how I got a little bit known in the scene early on, was just by remixing other bands that were, you know, that had albums out and were doing things. So I think it was definitely helpful for me early on in my career, and so like I was hoping that I could be of the same help to other bands.
Yeah, it's like
If that,
paying it way forward, like so many years later, I guess.
sure, sure.
I think the other thing too I wanted to touch on really quick, what a lot of people also might not know is that you do a lot of prop work as of late. I could sit there and ask you to list off a bunch of things, but that's what IMDb is for. You can
That's
type
right.
his name in, and it's going to give you a big, huge list of stuff. But what I will ask though is, what was probably one of your favorite prop designs that you've done, or just contributions to a show or movie that you've done?
uh I mean, I got a couple, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah.
What like one thing that I was really proud of, which kind of had came be, took on a life of its own after, was there's a TV show called it was a Netflix show called Santa Clarita Diet, and Drew Barrymore's character throws up this little ball of goo, and it eventually in the second season turns into this character called Mr. Ball Eggs, and I designed and built Mr. Ball Eggs. Um, and so I built a maquette for it, and they ended up recreating that digitally in the show, but I built and designed the physical thing that's in the show. And that's kind of been just like a character that seemed to have resonated with people. So I was happy to have a small little part in that. And then like with movies, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed just most everything I've worked on, but I did for the film Gone Girl, I got to carve these what do you call it, rod puppets. So they're like marionette type puppets, but without the strings. They're controlled by a rod on the inside, but they mechanically function correctly, and they're all hand carved out of wood. And I actually got to work with my sister on that. She sewed the costumes for the puppets, so it was kind of cool just to get to work with her on something. And it had a key, you know, kind of pivotal role in the film itself. And it was a good movie too, on top of it all, which makes it even better. So those were some of my highlights.
Yeah. Have you, I mean, I know with the whole coronavirus and COVID and all that fun stuff. I mean, have you worked on anything recently, or is there anything that you can actually, obviously maybe discuss that you're working on right now, or?
Yeah, you know, for about a couple years ago, I kind of switched gears from doing props as my main thing to doing digital visual effects. So I've been getting a lot of visual effects work. That's still been coming in, and I can do that right from my home. So
Can I
that's good.
interrupt one? I
Prop
want to
wise,
say
though, I
one
still,
thing really quick here.
sure,
Speaking of the digital
sure.
effects, the artwork on your album, I assume obviously you did that, which looks amazing. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the heart on the album, it was based on a painting by my friend Mike Haffington. He did this awesome painting of this mechanical heart, which I actually had tattooed on my chest like years ago. And then I hired my friend, who's a way better sculptor than I am, to sculpt that heart physically from that painting. And then he scanned it in and gave me the digital scan. And then I created the artwork based on that. So, and Jim Bonner is the name of the sculptor that did it. So it's kind of a collaboration. I look
Yeah.
at it between me, Mike, and Jim all working together on that in different facets. But yeah, but the final artwork is, yeah, digital. So thank you.
Yeah, I just had to say it's
Oh, but
beautiful.
oh, thanks so much. Yeah, prop wise though, I've been working. The latest thing I've been doing is the latest season of the show Blackish, which is my 5th season building stuff for that show. I actually have a sculpture right down here, but I can't show it to you because the episode hasn't aired yet.
Maybe you could do it, but I could put like a black box around it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have that
But
kind of technology or anything.
yeah, other than that, just mostly doing like visual effects stuff. Like I just wrapped up just a couple hours ago doing some VFX on a new indie horror film, which I don't think I can talk about yet because I don't know if they've announced it yet. And then just doing some doing some music video VFX for some bands, and yeah, that's about it. Keep them
Okay.
busy.
Cool. Well, I just wanted to kind of make this short and sweet and just kind of really just talk about your movie and just, make sure you guys know about the fact that he has a really great new remix album that came out because you are, self-releasing this. So you don't have some record label, which I mean, realistically, what the hell do record labels do these days anyway? I mean, you can make the post
Well,
yourself. So there's really not much use, other than some cash flow. That's about it.
yeah, I mean, they still have their function, but I wanted to try self-releasing to see how it went, and so far it's been good. I mean, I just rely on word of mouth and the kindness of my fan base to help spread the word, and been fortunate that everyone's been buying it. So
Yeah. Cool. Well, before we
oh,
close
so
this out, once again, just tell people, where some of the places that you can go get the album, just so they know. So hopefully, for those of you that are watching it, just, a few of you go buy the album. I will feel like I did my work by, having you do that.
thank you. So the band is called System Syn, but it's Syn with a Y, so SYN, and you can buy it directly from me at systemsyn.com. And that's if you buy it there and you want it signed, just make a note when you check out, and I'll sign it. But it's also available on like every digital platform ever, so like iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, Google Music, all that stuff. So,
Bandcamp, I would sure assume too.
yep, yeah, Bandcamp as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks, Clint. I hope that this interview actually comes out okay on my YouTube thing. We'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. I've been I keep up with your YouTube content. I enjoy it. Enjoy watching you doing the unboxings and the Halloween store shopping and all that stuff.
which
So
that'll ramp up when August hits, when all the good stuff starts going back into the stores.
yeah, cool, man. Well, thanks for having me
Yeah,
on. Appreciate
no problem. I'll catch you later, man. All right.
it.
See you.
See ya.